Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Um,
We've got a lot to talk about because on our very first episode, which was in August of this year, Medium was just hitting the update button. They've installed the updates to their program earnings. That has had some ripples. And that is our primary topic. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But once we exhaust that, we can certainly talk about anything else we want to. Because most of us came to this event through the Medium discussion group out on Discord. And again, a shout out to Robin. Robin, you're one of the very few people I've met on a server that puts life into their server on such a consistent basis. You and Sturgy, I've been invited to other servers. I've hopped on and hello, and how's everybody doing? Crickets. So thank you for that. Before and after the update, what are some of your observations on some of these updates that Medium has done? I guess primarily to their partner earning program paradigm. Is that the right terminology?
yeah, so I
Robin
think
has,
so on August 1st, Medium rolled out their new Medium Partner Program earnings calculation. We don't know exactly what it switched from and exactly what it switched to because they are a bit mysterious, but it switched from, it used to be calculated largely based on read time, and now it's calculated, read time is still a part of it, supposedly, but it's more based on your read ratio. So how many people are reading your story and how many people are engaging with your story. And then there's a bunch of other elements that they included in the update as well. But it meant that people who were really active in the community and got engagement on their work could make some more money, which is what happened to most people as of August 1st. The problem was with the new engagement calculations, if you build a better mousetrap, more mouse are going to come. And some spammers came and just launched massive attacks that diverted funds by using some type of automation, an automated attack to stimulate engagement that would get those accounts more earnings than they were actually due. So around September 25th, a lot of people who saw a major tanking in their earnings, going down 60, 70, 80%. Medium has figured out that problem, plugged that hole, made those ass pirates walk the plank, and things are going back to normal now. Mine just went back to normal yesterday. I have heard a couple of people that started going back to normal a couple days before that, and a few people have said they haven't gone back to normal yet. Medium often sends things out in these waves. So this group gets it, this group gets it, this group gets it. So that might be what they're doing here, but that's just kind of me taking a guess. But things are supposed to be going back to normal, and those who were affected and lost earnings due to this, Medium says they're going to be getting a credit by the end of the month. So that's where we are.
I never make much money anyway. I mean, it hasn't affected me that horribly, but I've noticed so earning less doesn't affect me like it would affect someone who was earning big and then all of a sudden wasn't.
I know of a couple of people who they were paying their rent with what they were earning on Medium. And because of what happened, they're in dire straits. And a couple of them have jumped over to Substack and have decided to take matters into their own hand and do their best to build that income back into play on Substack. It seems you're more in control. It's pretty straightforward. Either they're free or they subscribe. And if they subscribe, you get, I think Substack takes 10% of the subscription fee, but there's no algorithm about what's being shown, who's getting it, how you're paid. It's a flat up subscription.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so Substack is neat, but you have to pay for that single author, whereas Medium is a group platform. So people can pay their $5 a month or $50 a year, and they get access to a ton of different authors. So it's a lot different than have somebody subscribing to you for free. They pay their $5 a month, but I pretty much call that almost free for all the things that you get. They're not paying you. They're paying Medium their $5 a month. And then they get access to all those authors. They're not paying you. And there's a huge difference between getting somebody to pay for a platform and getting somebody to pay for just your content. And often when I ask, when you hear all these people that are like, oh, I moved over to Substack, and they might say, oh, I've got 5,000 followers or 10,000 followers. You always have to ask how many of those are paid though, because getting
Exactly.
free subscribers isn't hard. Well, I don't want to say it's not hard. It does take time and effort and work and all of that, but you can build that. It's a lot easier than asking people to actually open their wallet and give you money. What I like to point out to people whenever somebody mentions Substack, because sometimes people talk about it as it's like an exact alternative to Medium,
No,
but
it's not. And in fact, it to me, the meta conversation here is, okay, if you were basing your livelihood, paying rent, buying food, so forth and so on what you were earning on Medium, then you are a writer looking to make an income. Therefore, yes, it's important for you to write to get the income. Got that. But it seems like most of the people that I've met, including many here, you're writing because you want to write, and getting paid is a perk. Is that an accurate reflection?
I can't speak for everybody, but I think most people writing on Medium, getting paid is a perk. You just love to write and create the content and engage with other people and have a really great time and have your content be read by people and have it affect them and see that effect, whether it's a giggle like I get or a cry like some other people get. I think that's really the big return that people see from their time on Medium. But being paid's nice.
I would write no matter what, but getting paid is something that I certainly won't turn down.
Exactly.
I would love to be able to make a living at it, but it's hard to do. It's very hard to make a living at writing unless you've got a best-selling book or something.
I have turned down the money. I'm a maverick in that way, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a unicorn.
I think I'm going to start doing this going forward. And I've actually been doing this when I publish a link out to my currently published articles. I always use the friend link when I publish externally. And I think going forward, if you don't really want to block people from your content because you're putting it under the paywall, I think I'm going to start including at the very top of the story, which generally is included in the preview when they send out the notifications that something's been published. I'm going to put out there, if you're hitting a paywall, click here. And then I'm going to use the free link to the same article so that that might have gotten it by second or third hand link, they don't want to deal with a paywall, they can still get in. So the best of both worlds. Another workaround that I snuck out there, and Robin, you thought, oh, how crafty you. On Substack, yeah, they make you do a minimum $5 a month, which for some people is rather pricey. They just changed it. I did the annual Substack at 25. And for a while I was getting away with that. And then I got a notification that they upped it to 30. So now you can do a 1-year subscription for $30, which is what, $3 a month or less. So there's workarounds to it, but I like the community at Medium. I've started building some community on Substack, but it's not the same. It's just not the same.
I've always loved to write, and I always wanted to be a writer, but I always just wanted to be something that was even possible to achieve. Then this year I thought, you know what? I live once. I'm going to try it. And I only came to Medium thinking I'll build a portfolio, and then from there I can look into freelance writing. But then I got so hooked on Medium, and I'm just enjoying it so much. If it takes me 6 years before I start freelancing, that's okay. It's a great place for me to practice and to just keep developing my skill and learning from other writers. For me right now, just getting paid as a bonus. I made $60 my first month, which was August, and then my second month was like $40 or less, $40 Canadian, so that'd be less American. I hadn't been on this month because my daughter's been visiting. I think I picked a good time to get it over.
Well,
Perfect time. Lordy, I love that story. I would almost say that, though, that don't let yourself go 6 years without applying for a freelance gig. I can actually send you a website that you can find someone. And what I often recommend to people to do is to just start checking the website, even if it's once a week, and just seeing if there's any jobs that you really like. Because it is my paid job, I go for jobs that are higher paying as opposed to what I like because it's my income. So I don't really have that luxury, but you can go through these job boards. And if there's one that really appeals to you, let's say somebody loves birds. And there's an aviary website hiring writers for content. And you say, hey, I love birds, like that would be fantastic. Then apply to that kind of thing. When you see them pop up, they don't pop up all the time. So I recommend just, even if you just check once a week, just put a little note in your calendar or whatever, and just pull up the website and just see if anything popped out at you. And if you don't see anything pop out, do nothing.
Okay. Sounds like a good idea. I still haven't done any portfolio, so I've just been writing whatever I want.
That's one of the nice things about Medium is that you can write whatever you want. I occasionally I'll delve into something more serious, but usually I like to try to be funny. And I got accepted into, so far they've accepted all of my submissions except one.
I put Robin's vagina story in there today.
I thought, yeah, and I love the illustration.
I didn't want to startle you, Kathy, so we didn't put it in the original submission. She already had it published by the time she sent it. So I just published it.
And,
now-
and
Oh,
speak-
yeah.
That
and
was
speaking
fun.
of spotlights, I am over the moon thrilled that Robin's motherfucker article came through on top stream. I opened up Medium. Her article was swearing right at the top of my feed. And I'm like, yes.
I was wondering if these are the pieces Robin uses for her portfolio.
I was the one who did the edits on that, so I got to read it too. And it was like, oh my gosh. I
I have to read it and see. Well,
didn't know all that.
Yeah, I get away with a lot.
Yeah, you do.
And,
That's-
and frankly, Kathy, I'm sorry, but there is a wellspring of information in you that, yes, it's not necessarily comedic, but it could have certainly a fair amount of comedy in it. But your journey on becoming a professional opera singer,
Oh, that.
there are people out there today that are thinking about becoming a professional opera singer. Now, yes, granted, that was then, this is now, but I have a sneaking suspicion there are some rather, shall we say,
Universal.
ongoing universal issues that
Oh, yeah.
singers have got to deal with. It might include a vagina. You never know.
Oh, yes. Some things never change.
I read that too. That was a great article about that German audition. That was really
Oh, I
cool.
also
Oh,
nominated.
you like that one about the audition where they made me go up on stage and then they asked me why I had come there. Oh,
Yeah,
Great
it's
story. though.
good.
they
It
made,
was really good.
they made me get as far as going up on the stage waiting to sing, and then they said, "Why did you come here?"
I would have said, why are you being an asshole? Granted, it'd be the end. It could be the end of the interview. You writing about you, isn't that your portfolio?
I don't
Yeah.
know what people are looking for.
Your body of work is your body of work, right?
Personally, I'd say it depends on what type of jobs you're applying for.
Oh, true.
So for me, most of my paid work, my actual job, not Medium, most of that is doing like corporate work or for a marketing company, something like that. I'm writing company description, sort of the white papers, that kind of stuff. So, for example, my vagina story, while they might laugh, it's not going to be very relevant to writing about a tech company's upcoming IPO or merger or something. It's just not going to. So it does depend on what kind of jobs you're looking for. You do want to have a portfolio either that is catered towards the type of job that you're looking for, or one that is broad enough that they can get an idea of your writing style, but that has different elements in it. There can be personal narrative stories, but then you'll also want some that are more business oriented, maybe a news story, different kind of thing. A lot of companies want to be able to see your flexibility unless they're hiring you for one very specific writing role.
Okay.
Robin, how did you land in this? How did you break into it and now become literally a paid professional writer?
So I actually went to school for journalism. And to let you know how long ago that was, I went to school for print journalism.
That
Yeah. That
Hey.
was back when
paper? Oh my.
that was back we're still figuring out if this internet thing was going to become big. Spoiler.
Where did you study?
So I went to a school called Sheridan College. It's in Oakville. It's outside of Toronto, Canada.
Oh, okay.
And then afterwards, I went to a university in Toronto called York University, and I did a poli-sci degree, which is even more useless than a print journalism degree.
You're
Oh.
fancy. You went to York?
Yeah, I'm a York. Laura Lee probably knows Sheridan and York. You probably heard of them before. They're in the area. Yeah, so I went to school for that, thinking I was going to be a globe-trotting political journalist. And as I graduated, all the jobs were just disappearing because print was going down, and they hadn't figured out how to monetize the internet yet. I actually ended up getting a job in a technology sales company with this really cool company. It was Google. Like, you could wear board shorts and flip-flops to work. You could high five the president. What's up, D-Mac? You bring your dog to work. It was really cool. Then I moved to South Korea. Then I moved to Mexico, and I got a job as a tour guide on a pub crawl. But in the off season, I wanted something to do with my time, and I thought I'd start looking into writing again. And I started doing content writing from there, and eventually went full time. That's why I got started.
Wow.
The full origin story.
That's quite organic. I love it. That is sweet. When's the Pub Story book coming out?
Yeah, I want to read about that. I ventured to Mexico.
I am actually going to start writing down some of my travel stories. I've got one that's about half done, about a time I went to Tokyo, missed a train, and ended up going raving with some mobsters.
You said you went to DGT?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you and I were talking about this, and you reminded me
Yeah.
to get into it. So yeah, I'll send that over. I've got it about half done. I'm not great at telling stories in that way because I don't normally write that way.
Okay.
So we'll see.
It'll be good. I already know.
I'm going to piggyback on what Robin was sharing about building a portfolio. I, eons ago, attended an event that was rather pricey to attend. They called it the National Publicity Summit. And the reason why you pay a steep fee is within a 2-day time frame over a weekend, you're going to be put face to face with the people who are bookers on all the major networks, all the major radio stations, all the major magazines that are still publishing that sort of thing. You get literally 1 minute in front of them to make your case, sort of thing. And the one takeaway that I got from that, which they never quite said in the coaching, you get coaching through all of this to be able to present yourself the best possible way. And I understand why they didn't include this in their advertising and coaching, because it's kind of one of those behind the scenes secrets. What I learned was most bookers, most people who are ready to hire you for whatever, you need to be literally no effort, plug and play, period. It has to be able to be copy pasted right into what they want. They want zero effort involved when it comes to producing an audio, video, any type of material. And so my mistake when I attended that event was making an assumption that with a book title that's Pay Me What I'm Worth and my given birth name, that would naturally inspire a lot of curiosity. It did inspire a lot of curiosity, but the fact that I didn't have content literally designed specifically for 200 different people, it was quite the weekend where it's like speed dating. To be able to produce a body of work that was unique to Vogue, to literally 60 Minutes, to all the major wigs. If it wasn't plug and play ready, not interested. They could have cared less about your one sheet and so forth and so on. So that made me realize that, okay, as a producer, as a booker, you want to make their life as easily as possible. So whatever it is that I got approached by OWN Network, I was going to be the Book of the Month Club on Guess Who's Book of the Month Club. And I declined because after talking to 3 other prior Book of the Month Club featured members, they all said the same thing. And that is, you're scripted. You will talk to her talking points. You cannot talk outside of those talking points. You talk outside of those talking points, you're scrapped. And to my utter surprise, one of the people that I talked to that was on her Book of the Month Club, she spent thousands of dollars upgrading her infrastructure, thinking she was going to have a tsunami of emails and phone calls and texts and so forth and so on. She buku bucks to upgrade her website. Guess how many sales she got from her Book of the Month Club feature?
$50, 20.
Nothing. She
Wow.
saw no increase at all whatsoever,
So she
which makes me
mortgaged her
wonder,
house.
is the Book of the Month Club now just hype?
It is. I've always known that.
I was flabbergasted. I figured you'd see a spike of at least maybe 50 to 100 book sales on the day of the event. But a person that I got to know, who they were featured in a 60 Minutes segment for 60 Minutes Australia. She was doing a program that was timely. They did an extraordinary piece on her. 20 minutes on 60 Minutes Australian. You would think that your program, your coaching would go through the roof, right? 2.5 years later, Time Magazine happened to stumble across that particular segment, approached her and asked if they could use part of that copy for a 1-column presentation in Time Magazine. She
Wow.
agreed. She was in Time Magazine. What do you think she got as far as return on investment?
Magazine didn't give her any exposure either.
Nothing. Part of me is a bit jaded, and that's why I've created a program that's a little bit different. I have a number of people earning a good income and writing a lot of content off of just going through a workbook and journaling it, documenting it. And there's endless content to it. And I made sure that they understood that when they put it out there, this ain't going to be for free. You need to earn back what you're paying to attend class at a minimum, or don't bother. No more freebies, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Every single person that I've met that I use content from, they get something. I don't have a lot at the moment, but the more I get, the more I can share.
There's a really funny little song on the internet. It's by a company called Whoa Dude Designs. And I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's about their company. They're a design company. And they're approached all the time, as creatives often are, for doing work in exchange for exposure, collaboration. And they got so sick of people asking that they made this song. And the chorus of it just goes, "It costs that much because it takes me fucking hours. It costs so much because I don't have superpowers." And then it just goes on like, "Your exposure doesn't pay my rent." And it goes on.
Bingo.
It's so funny and it's so true. You can't pay your rent with exposure.
No.
Bingo. I used to,
I keep trying. My landlord says no.
I was working with a restaurant owner who they got approached by one of the events of the year, and they wanted that restaurant to supply to the event free, of course, tens of thousands of dollars worth of food, because they would get all this exposure. And I said to the owner, pass. You will get zero on your investment. Absolutely zero. Talk to last year's sponsor. And they did. And that was correct. People who get free stuff don't give a shit.
Yeah. There was one of those big Netflix show. What's one of the ones that people get married really quickly on the show? 90 Day Fiance. And this wedding photographer got approached by 90 Day Fiance with this whole big pitch email like, "We've got this huge platform, this many tens of millions of viewers, blah, blah, blah. We want you to come and shoot the weddings. It'll be over the course of 5 full days, blah, blah, blah." And then after going back and forth, she found out it was for exposure. And she's, first of all, don't pitch somebody to work for free by saying how much money you make. And then she said on top of that, also, "I'm not going to make any money because when's the last time you watched the credits?"
Now that rolls right into a topic I want to throw out there with Medium. What do you think your partner earnings program residual would be if you were compensated or rewarded for all of your responses
all of my responses, I'd be a millionaire.
It'd be more.
I find it intriguing that in the main stat page, they're showing you your stats for your comments, right? But there's zero compensation for that. I have done over 2,000 meaty comments to people's different work. Lots of claps on all of them. In fact, I get a little notification. Whoa, your comment has 20 people. Yippee skippy. So what? It's got 20 people. That and my own $2 will buy me coffee.
Only $2?
I'm cheap. If my stats are being portrayed that, oh, I'm getting all these clicks and visits, but it doesn't count in any sort of other than that, a stat, to what's the point? Is it just simply to keep your average writer energized that at least there's some traffic going related to your name? Thoughts?
In theory, with the new calculations that started August 1st, engagement, it's supposed to be paid for. So the more engagement that you get, this isn't engagement that you give, it's engagement that your articles receive.
Articles, yes, not comments.
Comments that your article receives it gives you an earning multiplier. It's not the
Right.
ones that you put out there, but the ones that you get back on your article. So you are supposed to be paid a multiplier of that. However, like, I do get a lot of comments on my stuff. I didn't make any more money. I think that only works at a really small scale because I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of the authors who make smaller amounts, it's easier to make more with engagement, but it doesn't scale. Like on my articles, I can get 50, 80, 100, 120 comments, which is a lot for Medium. I'm not making
Any
a
extra?
money with that. I didn't see my money go up at all when they claimed to be paying for engagement. So I don't know if that's actually true. And if it is true, I think it's only a difference on a very small scale. So you can't plan on using that strategy to make more money. It'll make you a little bit more money, but it's not if you double your comments, you're going to make double the money.
I have a live update, and this is good news. Hey, Kathy, guess what? You just got boosted for the first time.
What? I got accepted?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, score.
Nice.
My first boost. Oh.
We're all excited for you. I'm really overjoyed because I felt passionately about that nomination.
Good job,
Oh.
Jerry. Thank you for boosting.
Thank you.
It was an easy decision. She made it easy for me.
I wrote about an audition that I did in Germany back in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote about the worst audition I ever went through because the men who were auditioning me were real assholes.
Tragedy makes good comedy, right?
And it wasn't a very funny article, but
Tragedy plus time equals comedy.
yeah, I didn't make that one funny, really. But
No, you didn't, but it was really good.
oh, thank you. I just, every time I think about that, it just still brings back the some of the feelings. But I went on to do much better things than I would have done in that little theater anyway.
Yeah, Israel. That was huge.
I think that was Kathy's polite way of saying, suck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with this boosted article now, you've got some headwind. Are you
Yeah.
going to knock around some ideas of maybe a sequel?
I could write more about my experiences as an opera singer in Germany and Israel.
Since we haven't heard anything in the news about Israel recently.
But it's horrible. It's really, really horrible. Glad I'm not there right now, but still, it's when you've lived in a place and all of a sudden there's terrible things happening there, you can feel it a little bit.
And that's where you can draw us in as readers. You've lived,
Yeah.
you've earned your stripes. Now, granted, you haven't lived there recently. Forget that. There are certain things that you've experienced living there that go on today.
I left there in 1982, actually. But and the war in Lebanon was going on at the time. The war was pretty much confined to the northern part, and I was in Tel Aviv.
It's that personal story, ladies and gentlemen. Kathy, your personal story is what draws me in. My inner ego, when it speaks, oh, you lived there 20 years ago, it's not relevant to today. That's my ego sabotaging me. You got to be more mindful and take Robin's example and say, fuck you. And one of my students, she came up with the 3 F's. She says, if it doesn't have the 3 F's, I don't care. If it doesn't feed me, fuck me, or finance me, I don't care.
Now I need to write a piece about all 3. That'd be
Stop you, but just finance me.
She
Oh,
says,
well.
All right, who's going to write about that?
Me.
My
Yeah, it's-
favorite stories to
it's not-
read on
it's not
Medium
working.
are personal ones by far. And then I carry them with me. I find that I'm thinking about people from Medium throughout the day. Kathy, I think of you whenever I'm making coffee. Now I add cinnamon because of one of the stories I read of yours. And it's really,
That's another one of my favorite subjects. Coffee.
yes.
have we ever tagged team a story? Like, for instance, start out with one of Robin's stories as the inspiration to tag team it, and then someone else takes those 2 tags and tag teams it and links back to the other 2, and then links back to. Has anybody ever done that you know of?
That might almost fall in the writing prompt category.
I'm in the process of writing a fictional novel with 6 people, and it's more of a party game. We got to pick up where the other one left off, and whether we tie back to some of the central characters and the themes or not is up to us. It's twists and turns and intrigue. We've gotten rather crafty with each other, and we're making sure that there is a twist at the end no one saw coming. Now you got to deal with it. It's like the party game where you toss words into a hat and you have to build a story around it. And my favorite word to toss into a hat is the word the.
I find that if a writer that I enjoy reading recommends in one of their stories, oh, these other writers on Medium are really funny, those are links I'll check out.
Yeah.
I'll do that sometimes, but I don't know. I guess I have to really like the writer and trust their opinion to do that.
Yeah.
Something else I'll throw out there for us to chew on as we begin to wrap up. By the way, folks watching, I know that there's a lot of other time zones. If you want to host a writers panel, I'll be happy to work with you. If you need the tools to do that, I'll be happy to work with you so that you can host this whenever. Let me know if you want to do other Medium panel events. Secondly, if you want to start putting in some pieces that you believe you want some writer, reader interplay, let people know that on this date at this time, here's a link. I'm going to be live. We're going to do a Q and a conversation around it and start deepening that relationship with your reader base as well. I would love to do that as well. Getting readers involved in hey, Sturgey, what was in your head when you.
Are you talking about readers who are members of Medium or readers who are not members?
Both.
Both.
Having the chance to meet you and interview you personally about your journey to becoming a professional opera singer, and you've got some 19-year-old who's thinking about becoming a professional opera singer, wow, that is a golden ticket.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
I'm stoked that we're all here. We'll do this again next month. So Tuesday, November 7th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Is that doable?
Yeah.
Because you've RSVP'd for this event, you're good. You're going to use the same link. Just click on the same link to come in to join us. You don't have to do any RSVPing going forward. You'll get a reminder on the 5th to make sure that it's on your calendar. But if you can make sure you pencil it in on the 7th for 4 p.m. Eastern, we're good to go.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, everybody. Bowing in gratitude.
Yay.
Namaste.